con el mero, el gallo de Zacatecas.
That's right, homeboy.
El de Guayao. You got it, homeboy. Ahí les voy.
Dicen que soy poderoso, yo solo soy su amigo. No hace falta averiguar, saben a qué me dedico. Me gusta vivir muy bien, aunque me siga el peligro. Nosotros somos los Tucanes de Tijuana y nos vamos directamente. Adelante, échale, primo.
Hay que hacer ruido para que se mire la polvadera. Ahí le va, ahí le va.
Hi everyone, this is Dr. Julie Damron, local veterinarian for over 20 years. I am so excited about my new radio show, Tales and Tips, on Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, Voice of Stockton, and KXVS Radio. I will discuss relevant issues affecting animals and pet owners today, how to avoid common problems, and how to extend the quality of life for your cherished companions. As a community advocate, I will also discuss important social issues that affect our city. I plan to showcase organizations and heroes who are doing amazing things to help others. Remember to tune in every Tuesday morning at 10, starting soon.
For more information on the Voice of San Joaquin, go to tvosj.org.
The Voice of San Joaquin and the Voice of Stockton present The Lance McHan Show with your host, Lance McHan.
Facebook is down for me too, so
That's right, I'll share the stream.
We're gonna go live on YouTube, and we'll just figure it out from here. Technical difficulties, everybody. Anyways, good morning. Welcome to the Lance McHan Show. My guest today is Anthony Soto with A&A Music Center. He's a local teacher and artist. Welcome to the show, Anthony.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Great. So let's get into this. How did you start teaching? Where did your music career start?
The music lessons kind of came by surprise. I was working construction for years, and I had one of the clients had mentioned they wanted music lessons for their son. And I said, I could teach him piano. It's a piece of cake. And we started.
Is that your specialty? Is that your...
I would say drum set. I grew up on the drum. I'm a drummer.
Okay.
And I grew up on the drum set. But certainly piano lessons are kind of the number one ask. You know, piano and guitar are the main lessons I do.
Is it true that if you could do piano, you could do
That's fairly true. That's fairly true. I joke and often say that
I thought it was a myth.
Now the piano, I say the piano is the calculator of music. It really gives you all the answers right in a row.
Really?
I tease my piano players because all you gotta do is kind of just push a button and you get the sound.
Okay.
As opposed to some other instruments, you gotta kind of do.
Okay, that
don't
makes
get me
sense
wrong.
because it's all you could do on a keyboard. You could just figure it out. That's
got it, yeah.
interesting. I had no idea.
But of course, piano players certainly have challenges and skills. Definitely. Don't get me wrong there.
I remember when I took a music class at Delta. I grew up on Looney Tunes, and I didn't realize that all those the music in Looney Tunes were famous classical songs, or some of them were.
Sure. Has a lot to do with the the rights because they became less expensive that way. But of course, Disney didn't matter in those. Yeah, there's some fun things they show when they in college where they'll play movies or cartoon shows that we were used to, and they'll take all the music out and kind of let us experience what it's like that, and we feel how just plain and
dead
dry
it is.
Yeah, so it's a fun thing to see.
It's called what's it called? Mood music? Is that the terminology?
That's an absolute thing. Absolutely, you know that basically the music creates the emotions and the moods big time.
It's crazy. I know. I was watching. I forgot what I was watching, and it was Captain Marvel, and then the sad music was going, and then like it went from sad to like powerful, and you just you feel that emotion spike. And I was thinking like, what would this be like without music right now? It'd be it'd be pretty dead. And so I mean, it was a great movie. So if you know, I won't drop any spoilers right now for anybody. But it was a really good movie, and I was thinking like, man, what would it be like without music? Because it creates the emotion, and you could feel it. Unless you're dead inside, you feel it welling up inside you. It's like, she's starting to kick some butt. I won't drop the A-bomb. So
Yeah, absolutely.
And you started, so drummer, started it with piano with one of your bosses.
Yeah, she said she asked if I could do started lessons with him, and then he started doing good. And literally after just a couple weeks, she told about 4 of her friends, and actually each one of them took me up on lessons, and so that kind of just built my first clientele right there.
So you were hammering nails, and now you're like a musician or a teacher.
Realize it's a lot easier sitting next to a piano. I don't gotta wake up at 5:30 in the morning.
Hell yeah. It's out in the hot sun or cold weather, man. I remember those days. Being up on a roof. Being up on a roof. It is 103, and the boss is yelling at you, "Stop walking on the shingles." You're like, "How do you want me to walk?" Like, you're peeling the gravel off. I'm like, "Well, you want me to put styrofoam on my shoes? Like, how do you want me to walk on this?"
Yeah.
It was good times.
Yeah. They started after a few months, basically filled up my weekend. So I was doing construction all week long, and then about 12 lessons on the weekend. And at the point when I hit 12 lessons, I kind of looked at the finances and realized, well, this pays for all my bills. And
I'm making more money teaching than I am.
So I kind of put the hammer down and figuratively, and then I went to work as a music teacher. Started with piano lessons and some guitar as well.
Just all private, just your own little business?
Yep, just myself, just private lessons, in-home lessons. That's what it's been for the past 12 years now.
So what do you think? Is it all your lessons are in-home?
Yes, currently for the most part all lessons are in-home. I do some schools and work with some groups and stuff, but for the most part all my lessons every day is in-home lessons. I'm traveling out to the student's house. Nice.
So what's your day look like? What time do you start teaching and what time do you end?
I have some early day times. The majority of my day is 2:30 to 9 p.m. That's the kind of once kids get out of school for the most part. But I do have some homeschool students in the morning times and adult students, absolutely, in the morning and daytime.
You have a lot of adults or just mostly kids?
No, I got a lot of adult students, absolutely, over the years.
Like, I've always wanted to learn how to play guitar. I'm a master of the air guitar.
Absolutely, yeah.
But,
we can do some air guitar lessons too.
Right.
I'm going to charge a little extra, but
charge a little extra. I'm gonna have to bring all the instruments. I'm gonna have to charge you. You know, I need a U-Haul.
We get many adult students that bring it up. I love working with adult students because they're really appreciative, of course. You know, it's something they've wanted to do for a long time. Some of them have had lessons in the past and perhaps horror stories of lessons, or one way or another just didn't get a chance to get all the way into it.
Is it true or false that most music teachers are flakes?
Well, I can't say most, probably legally or something, but
right. There's a rumor that music teachers aren't very consistent.
Notoriously, oftentimes, I'll give you some background from it. Music teachers oftentimes they didn't sign up to be a music teacher. They're a musician and they're an artist and they're passionate about their field, and they jumped in and they perhaps pursued it with college and acquired a degree. And oftentimes it's for performance, rarely for teaching. In fact, there is a big problem with the system. This is something I've kind of worked on for a little while, but there's a big problem with the system that you have a teacher that gets a degree for teaching.
Okay.
Well, they're not going to go to the private sector and teach in private lessons, so you or I can't go hire them for lessons. We'd have to go attend the high school that they teach at and take their band class, so they get those kind of jobs, which is fantastic and what we needed, absolutely.
Yes.
But we don't. But they're kind of inaccessible. So the teachers that we end up with in the private sector, kind of in the past and still now, I suppose, but the teachers we end up with can be reluctant, like almost like they, that's something I see in the philosophy, that they don't always want to be there perhaps because that wasn't their plan initially, and now they get stuck, and now you got to sit there, and there's a certain job, it's a particular job to sit there and listen to a kid or anybody
kill the strings or their horn.
Me, I've come
or just beat on the drums.
I can't hear anything bad anymore these days. Everything sounds fine. I'm happy with any music work. But yeah, so you get some burnt out musicians in that sense, and so there another case that's even kind of a good case in a sense was you get a musician that starts teaching and they get their student going good, but then they perhaps get a big gig. I've had this many times where they got to move then. So it's not that they're flaky necessarily, it's just that they're still working on their career, and so they'll have to take off.
Thank you for changing my perspective.
No, that's all right. Yeah, I'm trying to protect them a little bit.
You see it from your lens of life, and you don't see it from the other person's lens. You're like, that person let me down, this and this and this, and so. Yeah, it's good to.
No, I'll talk a little smack sometimes on teachers too. I get a lot of horror stories myself. I'll show up at a student's house and they say, "Oh, we had a teacher prior, but this and that happened," and so it's like, okay, well, don't worry about that. We'll take care of it. And
we're good. We're gonna take care of that. So your main instruments are drum and
piano, guitar, bass guitar, voice lessons, tons of percussion instruments, ukulele. I've taught harmonica, I've taught
Really?
accordion, I've taught many different things at different times. My specialty is certainly piano, drums, guitar, bass.
Okay.
Those kind of main core ones right there.
Nice.
But I've had students ask for different things at different times. Yeah, sure, we'll get into it.
Let me go rent one and see if I can figure it out.
Yeah, just stay one YouTube lesson ahead of them. That's the old fashion.
That was a movie, right?
It's
It's
been on many things. Yeah, it's an ongoing joke.
Just stay one lesson ahead of one chapter ahead of your students, and you'll be okay.
Well, so many of those kind of horror stories, kind of so to speak, I say, are kind of why I've created this teacher training that I've done. I've been teaching for the last 12 years and come up with a lot of philosophies and seen a lot of moves, that I do that work, and stuff like this, and things that don't work, certainly. And so I've started to write those down over the year, and right now, actually, like it's currently becoming a training manual. So for the last year, I've been training some teachers, the teachers that are currently working for me, been training them and teaching them, and honestly going over very little musicianship, going into a ton of customer service, the student retention, keeping your student happy. And keep the parents of the student happy, or whichever, if they don't have parents, if they're over 18, but you get the idea. Just keeping them happy with music education, letting them make sure they're having fun with music is a big part of the training that they're going to, and it's working well. They're teaching and they're out in the field right now. I'm getting calls from students occasionally, letting me know, hey, it's going really well, and so I'm satisfied with that.
Yeah, customer service, I would think. That's the backbone of any business. It's not, you could be the best at what you do, but if you don't have the customer service, nobody's going to want to do business with you at the end of the day.
Yeah, and when it comes to teaching, customer service is kind of a funny thing. It's almost an unheard of thing, perhaps, because when you're a teacher, you're automatically in the role of knowing more than your client. You automatically know more. You have all the instruction. You're going to be constantly kind of mentioning how that's wrong. You got to correct this and correct that. So you're always you're in the kind of power role.
You're always being negative to that person in a way,
That's
and
exactly
so
right.
they get burnt out on being told that, hey, you suck.
Yeah. So I've come.
You got to figure out a way to just keep the enthusiasm.
I've come up with some beautiful
up.
ways to say that. Yep, that they'll never hear those words. That is the
you
design
say it with a smile on your face. You're making progress.
Yeah, exactly. Smiles are everything. But that is a big part of the training is not being that negative all the time. Basically, we almost can't say no. So you have to find a way to tell your student that actually wasn't correct, without saying that at all, without saying anything in the negative.
Wow.
Everything must be in the affirmative. So that's just kind of that customer aspect that customer service aspect that I shoot for. And it's been worked well. It's worked well for me over the years. I have one of my examples, or many of my examples, is that I have many students that when they start, some may say that they're not particularly a natural musician, so to speak, or some get titled that kind of thing, which I know that's not actually a thing, because I see how those students practice as quote-unquote natural musicians. They have to work hard.
It's like practice is everything.
Yeah. So,
I used to go to my daughter's school and have the kids read to me, and I always tell them, do you think your favorite athlete, superstar, do you think they just want to be good, or do you think they practice? And they always said practice, and I was like, right on.
Yeah,
so go home and practice.
Concept.
And
Absolutely.
so I could see the change when they went home, and they would read to me a couple times a week, and so it was always nice to see the progress. So it's very fulfilling.
It is. Teaching is
currency for the soul, so to speak.
Absolutely, that's exactly correct. I feel that every day, truly, with all the kids that I work with and adults, everybody that I work with.
You ever have a student go, "I quit"?
Almost never.
Really?
No, and I've had some little kids, some of the young ones, and they're getting burnt out already, especially when I'm talking about repeats. We got to go a couple more times. Give me a couple more rounds real quick on that thing, and I try to be as light as possible, but it don't matter. You're still going to get on someone's nerves.
Yeah.
So I try to keep it light.
Do the axe with the guitar, Jimi Hendrix.
But I've had some, you get some little kids that'll pipe up and be like, "Can we stop music lessons?" And I'll talk about, "Oh, you don't want to do that, man. You got this already going for you right now. You've already put in this amount of work." So we try and talk them into it. But generally, honestly, I'm kind of on the same side as the parents in that sense, because the parents are the ones wanting them to do it. So we have to kind of team up together to keep it fun and keep it going. Right. Because
do you ever have to coach the parents on how to keep it light and keep it fun?
Yes, absolutely. That's something that I do, and that's something that goes into the teacher training is basically how to communicate with your parents. Essentially the parent is also signing up for the lessons too a bit. They have to keep a little bit of stuff in, at least kind of tell the kid to practice here and there or something. So they have to be in it a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine the parents probably play a big role, because the kid's like, "I'm tired. I don't like this," or "I don't like that."
That's a daily thing.
I have the same problem with my kids, swim lessons. They swim competitively, and like, "I don't want to go. It's cold." And like, you sign up for it, you got to go.
Yeah.
And then when they excel or they win a race, and they're like, Well, you see that practice paid off.
I get stoked in there. Yeah, that makes more sense.
So you have any success stories you wanna share?
Yeah. As I said, I'm coming into my 12th year, and so I'm finally starting to see some of the results a little bit. And I always
The fruits of your labor.
Yeah, I've joked in the past, getting compliments when I first started in a couple years. The first couple years, they'd joke or not joke. I get some compliments, and they would say that, "Oh, you're doing a great job as a teacher," and this and that. And I would joke and say that, let's hold off and let's see if I do a good job. Let's give it about 20 years or something and see where they go with it. And if I do a good job, 'cause that's just kind of how I see it. But
Billboard's top 100.
Yeah, or if they end up crazy and lunatic and then, oh, my bad. No. But I do have a couple of scenarios. I got a student a few years ago, got accepted up to Oregon State University, and he was a drum student of mine for years here in town. And actually, while in town, he started, while we were doing lessons on his senior year of high school, he started actually teaching some of the younger grades drums and started getting advisement from me on how to kind of teach them and create curriculum for them. And then he went on to Oregon and became the drum major up there, basically directing the drum corps and stuff. So so I was super proud of that. That was one of the first things I was.
You're like, I had a hand in that.
Yeah.
You're like, I did that. We did that.
Absolutely. So super proud of that. Another case I got. Actually, currently right now, one of my teachers is a past student of mine. So he was actually my student 10 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, he was in
Full
high
circle.
school. Yeah, he was in high school at the time. We did lessons for at least 2 or 3 years, and then he went on his way. And I got a call about a year ago. He says, "Hi, I don't know if you remember me, but I'm getting ready to graduate with a bachelor's in music right now up in my college, and I wanted you to come down and we can chat and I can give some honors to you and stuff at the ceremony." Oh, I appreciate that. I'll be there. So I showed up and. First thing that popped in my mind was I said, "Well, what are you gonna do now?" And so
you're recruiting. You're like, "I got a job for you, buddy."
Exactly. So as soon as we started talking, and then right away we started the teacher training, and we got him going. And he's been teaching for a few months now, going really well. Been passing students on and kind of brokering students to him as well to kind of get him going. But he's ready for the new school to open as well too. I got one big one. A couple girls here in town. I think that I can just say their names because they like publicity. It's Dilly and Callan, and they are doing some pretty big things. You may have heard of them.
I have.
Yeah,
I know their dad actually.
I was gonna say we play Dilly songs on the air.
Oh, nice! I appreciate that. I'm sure she does. We appreciate that. They're doing good. Dilly has been recording down in Southern California with some big time producers for years. She's worked with producers who have worked with Jason Derulo and Megan Trainor and some Disney projects, some big ones, and so they've been working composing music together. She's got about 10, maybe 12 songs on iTunes right now. You can go check those out. And Callan, her younger sister, just released one. I think, forgive me, I'm terrible with ages, but I think they're 15 and 13, 15 and 12
young,
respectively.
Yeah.
They're young. They're doing
I played some of their music for my daughter because my daughter's all, she's 13. She's like, "Oh, I like it, Dad." I'm like, "Well, I'm trying to get him on my show." Nice. Justin, you need to come on my show.
Yeah, it's really good up in here.
Nice.
Absolutely.
There's tons of talent in Stockton. My buddy, he was a rapper and producer years ago, and I could see the underground scene was just tons of talent, but nobody's really broke out of Stockton and taken it to that next level and put Stockton on the map other than Chris Isaac. But we can't. I don't think we can get Chris Isaac back here to play.
That's a big part of my goal is making these musicians. And when I have, for example, if I can just have I'll just disclose some things with Dilly and Callie, when they were working. It's like right away when they were young, I could see some of their passions, and our lessons were not normal. We were not by the book. I could never do it by the book with them. They had too many requests of their own. They were constantly asking, "Can we do these songs? And can we try out this stuff? And I saw this on this. Can we do that?" And, absolutely, you got it. All right, let's go.
Let's go.
And so we were just going, and we were kind of going all different directions always, but I could always see that strong musical connection. I was like, there's no worry with these girls. They're going to work in the business.
The work ethic back then.
And then, they clicked one day. They flipped and really just started pumping, and that was a few years ago now.
Do they play together? Do they do music together? Or there's two totally separate.
They are two separate now. They're separate, two solo artists now, and but they certainly did. They started together. They've done all different kind of fashion. They've been through different style changes of music, and you know, they started with some acoustic guitar vocal stuff, flipped it into some kind of dubby reggae stuff and some punky reggae stuff, and we worked with artists like Dirty Heads and these guys, and so they've had a bunch of different exposure. And
wow.
It's really cool. And now I think they're, and forgive me, I know music styles have so many different small classifications now, but they're more in the kind of hip hop pop style right now.
Okay.
Sounds good stuff.
I
know
good.
that
If it's local, it's good.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I'm all about local. Maybe one day we could have a concert at the arena. That'd be cool.
Absolutely.
Local artists. That'd be something to look forward to. There's tons of talent here. Tons of talent. Mm-hmm. I would imagine you probably see it at a granular level more so than most people.
I see those small levels, the genesis of it, and hope for it, and then. But I work with tons of musicians here in town as well too, trying to get some of them to teach with me because they're fantastic musicians who could share some amazing stuff with the young kids, real life stuff, and then of course, your music technique as well too.
It all comes down to technique, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And practice.
Practice absolutely nonstop.
Any so you said you do voice lessons?
Certainly, absolutely.
Any advice for people who do public speaking, or is it just for singing, or can you use it in all facets of your life?
Oh yeah, well I'll tell you, with my vocal students, I often joke that I actually don't even teach voice. I teach speech therapy. And so the reason is because oftentimes, of course, they actually already have a voice anyway. They're already singers now, so I'm not giving them a voice particularly. And there actually has been a couple cases that I've taught voice of person actually that truly did not sing yet. For example,
really?
When they would go to sing, it would literally be one pitch, kind of just going. I thought, wow, this is fascinating. So we worked for a little while, and we got some things to move. And
you're like, hold on, let me get my earplugs. Okay, yeah, you sound way better.
Yeah. So they did. They came around and got good, and they actually went and sang over the choir at Delta. They applied and got in there, and he was pretty happy about that. But anyway,
so can anybody sing? I mean,
they can. They can, absolutely. I can teach anybody to sing, absolutely. I guarantee it.
Really?
And there's quote unquote this tone deaf, that term, which is actually not a thing. It's actually, I mean, it is a medical case, being tone deaf, which is like one in some tons of millions. So it's like, so people that say, oh, I'm tone deaf for this kind of thing, no, you're not, trust me. Unless you truly are. In that case, you probably don't like music particularly at all because you wouldn't be able to hear it at all. Or understand it. You'd hear the percussions and, the percussive
you'd feel the bass,
sure,
but you wouldn't hear the music.
I suppose you wouldn't hear the tones. Yeah, you wouldn't hear the pitches move at all. I'd be curious. And but anyway,
no, that's an interesting concept because, what does tone deaf mean? You know what blind is, you know what colorblind is, but tone deaf, I've never met anybody who's truly
I don't know that you have. Yeah, I've heard people say, "Oh, I am." No, trust me, you're not. You don't want to be that. But yes, so with the speech therapy aspect, again, it's students sign up for vocal lessons, and they already know how to sing. They already know how to make a pitch usually, and so we get into the speech therapy, which is the enunciations, the extreme vowel shapes and consonants, percussive consonant hits that we do and stuff. So, but yeah, that applies to public speaking, absolutely.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because there's not. You could find all kinds of things on the internet to public speaking. But there's no idea wrapped around like, okay, if you do this, then you'll become a better public speaker. The reason why I'm asking is I'm selfish because of myself.
Sure,
but,
absolutely. Well, I think you do a great job. Absolutely. I've been watching the podcast and they come out great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I got a fan.
One of the aspects, are that the enunciations, the clear speech. One of the aspects of enunciation that I always talk about is basically to enunciate, all you got to do is hit the consonant at the end of the word. So it's like basically like the definition of mumbling kind of is to...
No.
Yeah, it sounds just like that. And then it's to basically...
My wife always say, I can't understand you mumble.
Oh, me too. I grew up extreme mumbler and talking extremely fast. And so it was a terrible combination. And, of course, as a teacher, I mean, that's just one of the first things that had to shift. I had to slow down.
Slow it down, bring it down.
Otherwise, nobody's getting their money's worth at that point.
Thanks for the $50. See you later.
Yeah, you get that?
I don't even understand what word you said. All I heard was goodbye.
Yeah. So there's some things we can work on. Absolutely, we'll get some stuff one of these times.
Who knows? I might become a great singer one day.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You gotta pick a genre: country, rock. I don't know if I have it for Grok, but
We'll take requests.
yeah, we take some requests.
As a musician, that's your job. As a musician,
Yeah,
is
right.
taking
What would you
requests.
like to hear Lance McHan sing?
This I like.
Uh,
This I can work with.
Dang, I can imagine. I miss my prime. Could it? Get the cowboy hats, a little straw. I'll be good.
Heck yeah.
Although I don't really like country, but
But you got to look now.
yeah, right. Blake Shelton seems to be doing pretty good for himself, so might as well. Success leaves clues, so you might as well follow that, right?
There you go.
So, do you have a studio? Do you have a place of business where people can come do lessons? Or
Well, this is what it's all about now. For the past 12 years, I've been doing only in-home lessons, so I have not had a physical location. But now all that's changing. With the last few years, I've been brokering some students to teachers. Like, basically, I'll get calls all the time, and I'm already full. So I've kind of over time I devised, I'll just start passing these on to other teachers for a small commission rate. Well, that kind of naturally evolved into, I just need to actually build my own house and house these teachers,
Right.
create all the curriculum and stuff, and govern over them, and make a school. And so that is what's taking place now. And so actually, we are building a music school. We've got a location up on North Pacific Avenue. A business that's been in town for 39 years, and the owner is a huge supporter of music education and music in our community.
I love it.
And and he's actually he's building us some space in there to install the school, and we'll get 5 rooms in all, and we'll fill them up, and we'll start
you gonna
teaching.
have a drum room?
Absolutely. We'll be doing all lessons. We'll be doing wind instruments.
We have a styrofoam on the walls.
We'll do our best. It's gonna be a
Just
little noisy,
soundproof it.
but it is what it is.
I love it. My neighbor, he used to play drums all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and my dad he hated that kid.
That's
I
me.
mean, as he grew up, he liked him, but my dad worked for the railroad, so he was gone, worked late hours, and he'd be asleep. He'd fire up those drums, and my dad, he wasn't always happy.
Yeah, I
Lack
can.
of
No,
sleep.
I grew up in the same boat. I was a drummer. That's what I grew up as, and nobody liked me at that stage.
In the neighborhood, like,
When you're practicing, nothing sounds good anyway. Yeah, I make jokes about it, of course. But
yeah, when you're learning, nothing sounds good.
oh boy.
Yeah, it's like we could all see his progression as he got better.
Some sort of compliment.
His name was Chris. He was a good guy, but my dad loved to hate him.
Yeah, sure.
So how do people find you on the web or Facebook and
Absolutely.
phone numbers?
Mm-hmm. Yep. We have our Facebook page, which is A&A Music Center. That is the name of our school.
Okay.
A&A stands for basically all in all. It's something that I've kind of always built and been as a business, is just
love that.
encompassing all aspects of music.
I love that.
I like to be very universal. I get requests all the time. I mean, every single day for songs that I've never heard. It's popular songs that are on the radio. Sometimes I just never heard them before.
Yeah.
Yep, you got it. I'll teach you right now. Let's go. And we jump into it. So I can just whatever.
So you can
want,
hear a
music
song
stuff.
and know how you could learn. You already know how to play it once you hear
Relatively
it?
quick. Relatively
Really?
quick. Yep. That's practicing your scales, people.
Practice.
Those scales are everything. But absolutely, yeah, so get pretty quick with songs. And I try and show the kids how to get them that quick too. That's so a lot of music lessons have been geared towards a lot of the traditional structure, which is get your reading music on, get your scales and these kind of things on, going. Reading music extremely huge, and it is, and I'm passionate about it.
Is
Absolutely.
it number one?
Is it number one? No.
Okay.
Playing music is number one.
True.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And one of my big philosophies is to get rid of that paper. And the way you got to get rid of that paper at the moment is to memorize the music. So you got to read it off the paper and memorize it and then get rid of it. Because once you get rid of it, that song is going to sound a little better. Once
Yeah.
you're not reading, and some musicians will argue that, because they like to keep the music up still, even though it's memorized.
Yeah.
It's an old-fashioned argument.
Because when you go to like Delta to the orchestra, they all have their music out there.
Certainly.
But they played that song 1,000 times.
It's a funny little comfort, I think I certainly don't mean this in a bad way. Just my background was so much more memorizing than it was reading, so that's where I come from that.
Okay.
And, but also then I kind of going through college, that was the mandate. Everybody's memorizing always, and then they explain to us why, of course, too. You know, there's a little time difference when it's an eye connection into the translation into the fingers or whatever it is.
Here to
when it's
here.
just brain out, you know, certainly. So you're gonna save a little split second there.
Good to know. See,
Yeah.
you're learning here.
Absolutely.
And how's what is there a phone number people can call you at, or a face? What's the best way for people to get in contact if they want lessons?
Absolutely. Feel free to text me, 209-603-0980. You can text me anytime. I say text because you're welcome to call, but I'm in lessons often, and it'll oftentimes be voicemail, which I always return to calls. But we have personnel that's going to be taking over the phone lines and all that kind of stuff. That's what I am setting up currently. And we're expected to open on April 1st, so that stuff is in place, happening quickly.
Cool.
You
also do. You have a GoFundMe page. You want to talk? I put it on
please.
in the notes here. So let's touch on that.
Yes, please. So with the school that we're building, we do need a lot of renovations. Basically, it's going to be a large part of our responsibility to develop those 5 rooms inside there.
Okay.
We're going to get some help with that, but basically we're looking at right now we need to raise about $12,000, and so we did start a GoFundMe campaign, and I would love it if everybody could go check out the link and jump over there and make a donation if you can to support music education. We'll be providing music education for our community for many years to come.
Every little bit helps.
Absolutely.
So $5, $2, $1,
half a
$10,
dollar. We don't care. We're happy.
$1,000.
We're happy with anything. A few thousand, 20 grand. You know,
Yeah.
we'll get to work. You get to work. Give me 20 grand. I will work for you. You basically own me.
Your music lessons for life.
Yeah.
But you got to read the fine print.
Yeah,
So,
some fine print.
Thank
Whose
you,
life is
Anthony.
the fine print.
Yes. Thank you so much for stopping by.
My
Appreciate
pleasure.
it.
I really
Had a
appreciate
great
it.
time. Learned a lot about music, and I will definitely be hooking it up with you for some voice lessons,
We're gonna
so
sign up
I
on
can
that.
enunciate my words better, so
Yep.
I don't get yelled at from the wife. Good day, everybody. Thank you for stopping in and tuning in. And remember, be kind to everybody, because you never know when somebody's going to change your life. But more importantly, you never know when they're going to change yours. Have a great day.